This video is dedicated to the character of Val from Outlast 2. As you already know guys, Val is my favorite character in the Outlast series and I love her a lot. If you're new here, now you know. I admitted multiple times that I have an obsession with Val, and that's not the only obsession I had. Usually these obsessions help me keep my mind busy and distracted from my intrusive paranoid thoughts. I don't want to get into details about my problems. In this video I'll talk more about Val. How it began, how I became interested in analyzing this character psychologically, how I started to like her, and then create various artistic material of her. A video full of Val. It all began in the May of 2020 in quarantine. I was bored and sleepless, and I decided to randomly watch some horror videos on YouTube. I started to watch Codrim Radea playing Outlast 2. After that I watched him playing Outlast 1 and Whistleblower because yes, just watch Outlast 2 first. The game was very interesting, the atmosphere was scary, the story was very complex and confusing, and of course Codrin's jokes and Echo's jokes.
Asta vrea să ne facă laba.
And how they get scared. They didn't read the documents for some reason, but I still liked it. I finished the whole Outlast 2 playlist in one night. In case you're wondering why I didn't play the game and I watched it instead, it's because I'm broke. Okay, after that I searched for the documents and recordings to understand the story better. Out of all the characters, one catch my attention the most. Val. Mysterious, smart, weird, disturbing, with a sad story, with a confusing gender identity, and of course, sexy. I have to tell you that, at first, even if I considered Val a very interesting character, I didn't like her, especially after what she did to Blake. But after reading her journals, I started to feel really bad for her. I won't give spoilers. Then I became even more interested in this character. I even made some analysis videos about her. They contain spoiler, of course. The first one took me like 6 months to finish and I enjoyed every second. I love analyzing characters psychologically. When I was in high school, now I'm in college, we studied a lot of literature and we analyzed characters on a daily basis. But it was way more interesting, more complex, and way more enjoyable with Val. It was very hard, it took me a lot of time, and back pain, for spending a lot of time on my laptop, plus the college projects that I had to make in PowerPoint, Word, etc. So a lot of back pain. Yay! But that doesn't matter because I was doing what I like, and I would really like more material to analyze about Val. When my Val analysis video was only at the beginning stage, and I already posted a slideshow with Val pictures, I got the idea to cosplay her. And that sounded kinda crazy to me at that time because I don't look like Val at all. And honestly, that was the hardest cosplay I ever made. But I just didn't care. I wanted to cosplay Val. And when I want something, I do that. I was very nervous at first because I wanted it to be perfect. I got the materials, I started making the costume. I also started making faces in the mirror to make myself look more like Val. That part was funny though. After talking and editing my first Val pictures, I was really proud of myself. Now my skills evolved a lot and when I look back I kinda raise an eyebrow, not gonna lie. Except for this photo. I love it a lot. But these photos were a step in my development and even if they're not perfect, they still mean a lot to me. Especially that I took my first Val cosplay photo session on my 21st birthday. I have a lot of Val artworks now. If you want to check, here's a playlist. I have fan art, cosplay photos, music videos, memes, poetry, and even a fanfiction. And I'll post more. Before talking about the Paranoia part, I want to tell you something extra about how Val helped me with my mental health in general. Red barrels are great in creating very good characters, especially mentally ill characters, without mocking or stereotyping the shit out of them. Val's character is the best example I could say. Knowing her story and analyzing her made me feel better about myself. I don't know how, honestly. Her life story is very different than mine, but I found a lot of things we have in common. I'll just say that so I don't give spoilers. Somehow, this character made me feel understood. Made me feel like I'm not alone and that I am not as bad mentally as I thought. Also, even if Val lost her mind, I still can feel she has a very warm heart. And she's the kind of person to love someone with all of it. I know she's fictional, but because of these things I just said, I found a refuge in Val. If the other obsessions I had just healed me temporarily by distracting my mind, this obsession with Val was actually a very important step in my healing process. Now, talking about my paranoia, I guess you can imagine that as a Val cosplayer, I wanted to cosplay her mad version as well. But I have many paranoid thoughts and I had moments when they made my life a living nightmare. So, doing this will imply a great amount of mental discomfort. And even for a normal person, it will be very hard. Imagine how hard it will be for someone with paranoia. I don't know about the laws in other countries, but in Romania, if you get caught while doing something like that, you can get arrested, beaten, or even worse. So you have to be very careful. Back in 2020, because of my paranoia and because of the pandemic accentuating it, I thought that cosplaying Madval was the greatest form of bravery or something like that. Probably for a normal person, what I just said may sound stupid, but I don't care. I talk about cosplaying Madval in summer, but I didn't have this courage until December of 2020. It wasn't that cold. I wanted to cosplay Madval, and I wanted to defeat my paranoia. I'm glad I finally had the courage to do this, and I'm very grateful for my best friend Mayu for helping me. My paranoia is still here, it just doesn't disappear when you start to get out of your comfort zone. That mad cosplay was just the beginning. Now I go to therapy, I'm still working on myself and on my self-esteem. But this cosplay was a very important step in my personal development, and I could say the most important. I couldn't even dream about being so brave years ago. It was like a new start in my life, a life in which I am more brave and bold. And this is the main reason why I love Val so much, aside from keeping my mind busy and being a great character in general. This character will always have a very important place in my heart. And on my hand. Yep, I got my girl tattooed on my hand. And God bless Red Barrels and especially JT Petty for creating Val. Thank you so much guys and much respect from me. Probably some of you will say that sooner or later in life I will make this step anyway. But I am grateful I did it like that. And if you were never in a similar situation, most likely you won't even understand this whole passion about Val. But that's fine. It has to make sense for me and for the people who were in similar situations or who are interested in what I said here. I also hope this video can help people who are in a similar situation right now. And they have to know I support them with all my heart. Good luck with everything you want to do. All the best.